Let's talk about history and evolution of ESG. So it means why this the companies started preparing ESG and all. So we'll see that means we'll try to understand the different aspect of ESG. So let's talk about it. See, ESG is often used interchangeably with the corporate social responsibility, or because see nowadays, as I said, see now I mean since beginning companies they have their ESG policies where they work on different areas and submit the reports to their investors, governments, or different agencies. So they have it, but see, ESG, which has something different than the CSR, because CSR is just one part which comes under your, which is this, social, this means CSR, which is your one of the, you can say like it's a one part which comes under your ESG part, right? However, ESG encompasses, as I said, which is different. So let's talk about it, why this becomes more important nowadays. In 1980s, the environment, health, and safety based on the development of environmental and the employees regulations. So basically, the board of environment, health, and safety, this board which is means started and they just wanted to work around environment, health, and safety, but the intention was to work for environment and also to work for employees and regularize it. So because if we have a regulation in place, so people they follow it due diligently, and if we don't have a regulations, then generally the trend is like they don't follow the policies or regulations and all strictly. That happened, right? So that's what they were thinking around, like how we can set up this as a regulations, or maybe how we can think differently to achieve all of this. All right. Then in 1990s, the sustainability, which came in again picture, that the most of the world was focusing on, right? So reducing environmental impacts beyond legal means requirement. Even if you have a regulations, there are companies, right? They have directly manipulated the policies, regulations, and they have done lots of different things. All right. But again, as I said, without sustainability, we cannot achieve growth. For growth, sustainability is important. All right. And in 2000 to 2010, then again CSR come into picture. Corporate companies means they always do something. At means still today also they are doing something for, maybe in COVID also we have seen like Tata Trust contributed more than 1500 crores to the state governments or different the groups to do something and all. So we have seen that contributions. And the companies like Wipro, they have decided to invest in education. Vedanta Group also declared that entire assets they'll invest in educations and all. So there are other institutes also, means they're working around different things. But CSR, it's not a mandate, it's just a voluntary position, a voluntary the provision, you can say. If they want to follow, they can. So because they see world is looking for a regularization, it means how they can set up regulation around this, right? But again, still which is in a startup phase. So let's talk about it. And in 2020, the first time we have seen the combination of environmental, social, and governance practices, right? And then finally it seems like holistic concept related to the competitive advantage and risk and reward management. And let me just tell you something else. And from an investing world, see the BlackRock or different mutual fund houses, they are also now asking companies to provide detailed reports on ESG, because that comes under the responsible investing. All right, that comes under the responsible investing. So for example, let's say I don't know whether you guys are aware about or not. See, Sharia financing, which is not allowed to invest in tobacco or drugs, human trafficking kind of businesses, right? But here, if something, let's say if someone is investing into it, it's a violation of ESG. So that's how ESG works, right, guys? So I just means provided example, reference example how it works. So now basically see, ESG will worked around all different factors and ensure that how we are working on different things, so that we can bring more and more transparency, and we can also achieve sustainability objectives and all. So if you see in 1991, there was a one word which is environment. In 1990s, the world was focusing on sustainability, and in 2010, the world was focusing on even the governance, I would say, or even today also the governance is mandate. Without governance, we cannot operate the business. Business will collapse, government will collapse. More and more scandals that you can see because the smart people they can organize it. So governance is also important. We have seen Harshad Mehta scandal. We have seen Ponzi scams. We have seen a lot of different stories. What happened with them, right? So yeah, this is what the ESG come into picture. Then if we talk about growth mainstreams, right? So basically, ESG influence on investor risk and return, which is very important one. Second, of course, transparency, which is needed. See, as investors, we are investing money in business, and what if that business is not maintaining any records, not publishing any records? Then why should I invest? As an investor, what I need clear reports or clean reports which provide insight about products, services, vision of management, the role, utilization of a funds, channelization of a funds, or mobilization of resources, and all other things. So it is very important that. All right. So this is how basically your ESG works. And of course, the regulations. This is also important, guys. Without regulations, we cannot achieve the target. So regulations are also important. Without regulations, we cannot. All right. So address both again national and international threats to the climate change, including your disasters, floods, or terrorist attacks. All of that all comes under basically your ESG only. So we have a couple of examples I would like to brief. One is British Petroleum. In 2010, what happened with the British Petroleum? These are the some see highly popular examples or high profile examples, I would say. You know how it has been impacted. Let's see this. British Petroleum, British Petroleum US Deepwater Horizon oil spill, where the British Petroleum received $53 billion fines, cleanup cost, and local re partition, you can say, repatriation. All right. So this is how, guys, if something happen, it will lead to the huge cost. So it's a very important one. Second, Volkswagen. What in 2015, as we have discussed, they just designed one device and integrated the device in the cars and produced 11 million diesel vehicles, which was producing more and more carbon. The fine which they have paid is 27.4 billion euros. See this. Then Cambridge Analytica in 2018 harvested the personal data of 87 million Facebook users, resulting in Apple losing billions in market value. See, guys, see everything. If you uh, see why regulations are important now. Here you can understand it. So your personal data is online. What your banking is online, right? What if someone access your bank accounts and transfer entire accounts from your accounts to another account? So how will you, means what will you do? You can't. There are thousands of stories which I know it. Millions of people, they have lost huge value in stock market, in investing, or maybe in a scams and all. But if we want to restrict all of that or to control all such activities, then ESG plays very critical role in all of the segments. All right. I hope you got this why ESG is also important along with this history and all. So yeah, we'll see the comparison when ESG versus the other principles in next module. All right. So if you have any questions so far, I would request you. I know that it's not a live session, but you can still, uh, maybe write an email to me if you have any questions, or also you can update whatever doubts or questions that you have in the description below or in the course. My team will get back to you, or I'll get back to you. All right. So we'll see you next module.